anything about how well it's going to impact health. So we used to use a USDA, United States Department of Agricultural test called ORAC, and it measured the potential of a plant or a food to be an antioxidant or turn on the body's antioxidant system. But it was done under high temperature, the wrong pH, and too much pressure. None of those situations exist in the human body. So it was a laboratory test. It was a good test, but it's now been made obsolete because at Cornell, they learned how to take human red blood cells and put a probe inside them and measure things. And so the cellular functional test called CAP-E, cellular antioxidant protection with that little e, means erythrocyte or a human red blood cell. So this lab is now commercially viable, and we were one of the first companies that started using that lab in 2008. And at that time, they had a scale in their lab, and the highest scale number was 4, meaning they'd never had any products that measured above that, so that was their scale, 0 to 4. And this test establishes 2 key functions. First of all, it measures how well the product goes into a human red blood cell, and that's called bioavailability. Most botanicals and most of the food that you eat is anywhere from 3 to 20% bioavailable. So it's 5 to anywhere from 3 to 20% bioavailable, and bioavailability says how well does the product go inside the body. So the CAP-E test measures 2 functions. First of all, bioavailability. How well does it penetrate the cell? And that means, is it going to go in? Because no matter how much of a product you take, if it doesn't get inside the cell, it's not going to be functional, or it's going to be marginally functional. So that's the first thing. The second one is when it gets inside the cell, not that we're putting an antioxidant in, but are these plant properties turning on the body's natural antioxidant systems? And a couple or 3 of those systems are superoxide dismutase. These are enzyme systems of the body that when the raw materials are right, the body can turn on those systems and protect itself from just about anything. So how well does the product protect the body? And when we started in 2008, the company at that time had tested about 40 companies' products. And those 40 products, the highest score that they had ever seen was in the 2 to 3 range, but they had the scale set up at 4. And we sent them samples in 2008 of our classic product. And our classic product tested at 4 on the scale. And it was the highest one of those 45 companies that they'd ever seen. And they actually called us and said, "That's pretty amazing what you guys are doing. This is a very good number." And we didn't tell them why we did what we did or give them any kind of clues. We just wanted to kind of see what the numbers were going to be. And then once we had a measuring scale, we could apply technology to make it better. Because the commitment we got as a scientific team out of Rick Cotton, Don Cotton, Paul Morris, and Michael Seymour, he wasn't involved in 2008 at the management level, but he was the biggest investor in the company, and we certainly had his attention, was we want you to commit to our scientific team that you will allow us to always make these products better. And they made that commitment. So when we saw 4, we knew we could do better. So I'm now going to show you a chart that capsules 6 years of hard work by our scientific team to make these products better without changing the ingredients very much. And so this chart's a little complicated. I just got it 2 days before I came here from our legal department so that they said it would be okay to use. So the results, I think, speak for themselves. So I'm going to start out and show you the entire chart. Eventually I'll have this on a click, 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 and it'll go. But if we start with 7 Plus Classic, we started down here, there's a blue line, and that number represented 4. And what we did in 2009 and 2000, we took an acai juice product on 6/9/2009 and tested that product. And that product tested 0.5. It's a good product. The juice products are good, but we were 4 at that time. We took another product, a GAC product by one of the leading companies, billion-dollar company, and their product was testing out about 1.2. Now, I'd done a lot of work and research in 2003, 2004 on noni, so I already knew noni was a great product. And there's a company selling noni juice products, and they've got miracle results with that product. And so we didn't even test it at that time. But in 2013, 9/9/2013, we tested their latest generation technology of that noni product. And it measured on our scale 3. Now, we were at 4 in 2009. And we started applying technology, and I didn't tell you about it, but when I was here and your product was at 4, it was already really at 6. But the company didn't want me to be talking about that. But we knew that classic product, we'd already raised that level, 2010, 2000 level, to the level 6. And again, nobody else's product in the marketplace had gotten to 4. And so we knew, boy, we're really on to something here. And we did the same thing with our performance product. Started out, it was testing because we added some botanicals that created better bioavailability. That product was testing about 16, and we raised it up over the next year to a number in the 20s. And the scientists in the laboratories were calling us going, we do not understand how these numbers can be this astronomically high. The same thing was true. We started with our premium focus product, and it started out in the low 20s, and there was a point in 2011, 2012, that product was measuring 48 on the scale. Unbelievable. The scientists could not believe it. But our classic product, thank you, our classic product was still being improved behind the scenes because we kept eXfuze commitment. We're going to constantly improve it, and they let us do that. So in 2013, our 7 Plus Classic tested 4/1/2013. The number is now 43. It's unbelievable. And what that represents is that that product is massively going inside the human cell better. And it's turning on those systems of the body more effectively. And every one of our products, if you see these blue lines, is where they were, and this is 2013, where they are today. 43, 44, and 67. And still, there's no product in the marketplace that's over 4. And how do we know that? The lab will not tell us because it's confidentiality agreement. But if a company has a product on a CAPE score higher than 4, they're going to talk about that. and nobody's talking except eXfuze. And so we've got a product that represents right now the highest level of biological function that we know about. And we're willing to learn more because we believe 2014, 2015, all of our products are going to be in the hundreds level because we're learning this technology of bioavailability in an incredible way. We've spent a lot of time in our manufacturing facility working at every phase of the equipment so heat does not damage it, pressure, temperature, agitation. We know the speed of the propellers to mix things properly to get these numbers up. And so this product now represents the highest level of biological activity that we know of. And we're beginning to see the results of that in people now all around the world. It was great before, it's better now. So that's pretty impressive. So here's what we know. eXfuze commitment to bring you the very best products. And I'm proud to be with eXfuze because they lived up to their scientific commitments to us, to allow us, leave us alone. They do not make any scientific decisions at the corporate level. They let our scientists do that. And that's resulted in some really great product. And you can thank Michael and Don and Rick and Paul Morris for having the ability to say, do what you need to do to make these products incredible. And they've stood behind it. And here's another thing that we commit back to eXfuze. We're going to constantly make them better. If we find something in science or something in manufacturing technology or something at the biochemical engineering level that'll make these products better, and it's something that can be done affordably, we're going to apply that to these products to constantly make them better. And I like to close with, I used to be a long-distance runner, and I've run many marathons. And I started that in the early 1960s. And there was a shoe company that came about with a waffle iron on a piece of plastic, and they made a shoe that had a waffle sole, and it was called Nike Company. And they've turned into a global phenomena in the sports science world. There's a company that spent, no company has spent as much money in sports science as the Nike Company. Their products, whether it's a piece of clothing or whether it's a shoe or a golf club or a golf ball, has got science that is beyond imagination. But they don't ever talk about it. Their slogan says it all. And what's that slogan? Just do it. I see it all over the world, on T-shirts, on everything. Just do it. And they don't complicate it with science. So at eXfuze, my message to you is, let's don't make this real complicated. Trust that eXfuze is going to provide you with a great product. So you don't have to become scientists, as much as some of us like to do that. Because the science is not something that the general public understands very well. The best thing that eXfuze can do, and eXfuze is another great company. We're not as big as Nike yet. Yet. And do we have that potential? Maybe. But we do have some great products, and they are incredibly scientific based. But we haven't talked a lot about our science, how we made those better. So we say at eXfuze, just use it. It works. And somebody else told me, I think it was maybe Irwan, we were on a plane or in a car coming over here, maybe just drink it. It works, okay? But try not to make it ultra scientific. We've done that and done that for you. So use our products, become a product of the product. When I was in clinical practice, it was always easy for me to get an athlete or a sick and dying patient to use a product because I was a product of what I was doing. I was a connoisseur of health and health purveyance, and people that wanted to be healthy or improve athletic performance just trusted. So develop a relationship, get your own personal testimony about these products, and tell that story. It's the most important thing that you can do, far more important than science. So just do it. It works, and I thank you for allowing me to be back here in Kuala Lumpur. Thank you very much.